Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here as the moderator of this panel as we gather to unravel the quiet yet powerful revolution taking place in the insurance industry through Insurtech. Insurtech is swiftly transforming how we conceive, acquire, and manage insurance. Here we have with us four speakers from different areas of expertise. So I'm gonna leave them the microphone so they can present themselves.
Hello, everybody. I'm Hermann Girón. I'm General Manager for Seguros El Roble, Central American largest private insurance company, and probably one of the people with more idea of innovation in terms of insurance in our region.
My name is Austin Renfroe. I'm CEO of Renfroe, one of the largest insurance claims providers in the U.S.
My name is Estuardo. I'm from El Salvador, from Sostengo. We're the first MGA Insurtech of Central America, trying to give more accessibility, give more digital processes, and very excited to be here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alex Martin, the CEO and co-founder of a company called ClearSpeed. We're a California-based AI-enabled voice analytics company that does risk identification for claims.
So Herman, how do you see collaboration between traditional insurance companies and insurtech startups evolving in Latin America, and what are the key drivers of this collaboration?
Thank you, Patty. And since there's not many insurers in the room, because really insurance companies are very traditional, and we were speaking earlier that insurance is the most difficult industry to go into in terms of innovation, because we're based on paradigms that have to be changed and ways of doing things. I think that having this panel and allowing our experience in insurance to be extrapolated to different industries is a great opportunity. I think having the idea of doing things different has to go side by side with pairing up with people and organizations that do things a different way, and being humble enough to understand that those ways may be better than the way that we do them ourselves. And I think this is a lesson that's very important for diversity of industries.
Thank you, Herman. Alex, could you share with us how your companies are generating value in the insurance sector?
Sure. So ClearSpeed did not come from the insurance world. We came from the military, which is weird why someone would be talking about insurance. But how we generate value in insurance is the same way we generate value on the government defense side. And that is that everyone came at the problem of trying to find the bad guy. So using lie detectors and people to find the bad guy. The problem is that all of you non-bad guys get held up, right? And so with ClearSpeed, what we do is we flip that on its head, and we say, look, we're going to say the vast majority of people are good claims or good actors, and we have a tool that clears them quickly, and then we produce a little alert, not saying you're bad, not saying you're committed fraud, but that allows those teams that have the proficiency to do that work do it better. So we're driving value by flipping fraud or security risk on its head and saying, let's favor the user experience over finding that needle in the haystack.
Thank you. Estuardo, could you share with us how your companies are generating value in the insurance sector?
Sure. Maybe just to give a little bit of context of the region, the penetration of insurance is super low, right? Almost 90% of people doesn't have an insurance, so that's a problem. And what we're doing, and we're seeing in two perspectives. One, from the accessibility, creating a tool. We have a tool and an end-to-end tool that you can quote. You can personalize your product. You can do a digital signature, and that allows you, at least doesn't have that bureaucracy in terms of getting a basic insurance, right? And from the other side is also accessibility in terms of price. We know that disposable income in our countries here in the region is hard, and it is perceived as a luxury product. So the innovation from the insurance product is key to be able to penetrate the market, right? How you can penetrate it. One, make it personalized insurance. Why people need to buy an insurance that has international coverage if they don't go out of the country, just take it out and the price go low. So that dynamic on understanding not just the digitalization of the distribution, but also the core, which is the insurance product, is key to be able to penetrate those well, our markets here in the region.
Thank you, Estuardo. And Austin, could you share with us how your company is generating value in the insurance sector?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So, you know, I think for those who are not involved in insurance, and I mean, I grew up in insurance and I felt the same way, insurance is boring, you know? It just is not a sexy industry. But when you really look at it, it's kind of the underpinning of the world economy. It's what allows you to own a house, it's what allows you to own a car, to open a business, because it protects you from those once-in-a-lifetime things that you're otherwise not prepared for. You know, and that's what, you know, these gentlemen next to me are doing, is they're doing the underwriting side, allowing people to get insurance. And what Alex and I are doing is we're removing friction from the, well, what happens when something bad happens to you? And so what my company's doing, what Alex's company's doing as well, is we want to make that part of the process invisible. You know, when you get into a car wreck, when your house burns down, like in Hawaii, what we're handling right now with, you know, all the survivors out there, we want to try to make that process as invisible and as painless as possible so we can get you back on your feet and back to living your life. Like, that's what insurance is meant to do, is to be a safety net for you to continue on your life as if nothing happened.
Thank you, Austin. Could you hand it to Alex? Thanks. Alex, could you share with us what lessons have you learned through your expertise in more mature markets such as North America, and what opportunities and challenges you foresee in Latin America based on it?
Yeah, so there are people in the audience who may be from the venture capital world, or you're from a company and you're a buyer, or maybe you're a startup yourself, or maybe you want to do a startup one day. Whoever you are, you know, where we come from, our journey, it's always unique, but our journey was one where, you know, we come from what we thought was the hardest market, defense. It's not. Insurance is harder. And so when we had, you know, we've raised $50 million in venture. We've got a really exciting product line. We developed something new for insurance. We go to ITC in Las Vegas, and no one will talk to us because it's so new, because there's so much risk of new. And then you have this incredible company here in Guatemala, El Roble. They're like, we'll try it. I mean, the challenge is the opportunity. The challenge in North America markets and UK market is that there's so many reasons to say no. Everyone's worried about their job next quarter, and so they're actually more risk averse. In the most risk averse, you know, market in the planet, insurance, they're actually so risk averse that you might never get a chance to show. But if you're bad, you want to know that too, right? You want to fail that and iterate and pivot and go to another market because you believe in your tech. And so what people at El Roble allowed us to do is find us, give us a chance, and become a partner, same side of the table. Can you design this? Can you develop this? We need this. This is our pain. And I think it's a case study that should be taught at every business school, because I feel like the passion, the enthusiasms that are in this market in Central America and South America are a complete differentiator and weapon to outperform and outpace, attract more capital, attract great talent here in this world. That's why I'm here. It's so exciting to where you are, where in North America it feels like it's 1990, you know, and you're talking to people 30 years ago, and if they'll even talk to you because they're so afraid about making their next mortgage payment or getting the next promotion. It's really not exciting. Whereas this is exciting. This is an exciting place to be a technologist, to be an entrepreneur, or to be a company that should take a chance and exercise those leadership muscles to assume some risk to try to innovate.
Thank you, Alex. Austin, how has the implementation of technology-driven solutions improved the efficiency of claims processes in the insurance industry, and what specific advancements have you seen in this area?
Yeah, so, you know, going back to my previous point, I think our goal is to remove as much friction from the process as possible. You know, if you can imagine you've just lost your home in Hawaii, and, you know, maybe you've lost all your worldly belongings, the last thing that you want to do is become the project manager trying to figure out how to rebuild everything. You don't want to be dealing with a contractor, dealing with the insurance carrier, dealing with your adjuster, dealing with, you know, all these different things. You just want to know that someone has your back. And through technology, through a lot of the automation that we're building, a lot of the, you know, interesting AI stuff that we're building, we're automating a lot of that stuff away. And I think, you hear nowadays a lot of the stuff coming out with generative AI and LLMs, you hear about getting rid of the human element. But what's exciting to me about it is that we're using that automation to get rid of the mundane stuff that human beings shouldn't be doing anyways, so that we can refocus our people on the human components of it. So rather than filling out paperwork, our people are actually calling and checking in with people and asking them how they're doing. You know, adding that human component so that we can make them feel like we are taking better care of them. And that's what's so exciting to me about the technology that we're bringing into the claims process, and that's where I think the insurance should be going.
Thank you. Estuardo? Thank you. How do you see the Insurtech development in Central America?
Super excited. That's why we're here. Very optimistic. I believe that the region will start to understand and to learn from bigger countries and more developed markets. But maybe a couple of highlights how I see it. One, from a startup perspective, we're going to see more capital, which at the end will bring more players in the region, which at the end will bring more innovation, right? That even the ecosystem is getting more educated to potential those players, right? Two, I believe also carriers and the traditional insurance will start to be more receptive on new innovations, right? We'll start to be more educated on how this collaboration is important to actually penetrate more the market. Something that also excites me a lot is the data analytics. We focus a lot and we truly believe the innovation of the product of the insurance is key. And the whole thing of AI and data analytics, you guys know about fraud. I think Latin America, we have that issue, right? And I believe AI and understanding the risk will be key to not only bring innovation, but bring innovation with a sustainable growth, right? Which is key on the industry, understanding the risk. And then the last but not least, I believe, is also in terms of regulation. Different models of distribution, different models of collaborations. Being an MGA, none of the regulators understood what is an MGA. So I think regulations will start to see also a different way of how models will work to actually potential that penetration of the market. But also we're seeing trends, Mexico, Panama, well, Colombia, Dominican Republic, to have basic insurance as a mandatory option. And that will change completely the way how people think about insurance, and that actually will increase the penetration, right? So I'm very, very excited about what is happening. It's the reason that why we're here is the region that we believe in have huge potential to grow and huge potential to actually increase the penetration that at the end, that's why we're here.
Thank you, Estuardo. Hermann, what advice do you have for the insurance ecosystem in Latin America looking to engage in collaborative efforts to advance the insurtech landscape in the region?
Okay. Well, in the audience, I see very few insurers and I see a few bankers, but I see innovators, I see creativity people, I see people from the development and software, and I see venture capitalists. And I promised myself I wouldn't talk about insurance. Because talk about insurance is easy for me and it's easy to bore everybody. I promised myself that today I would talk about how we can build more. And I think in the context of insurance that is very boring, there are very important points that are very exciting, just like in all the industries that you participate. And I want to give you the 3 ideas that I think as innovators and as developers of new thrusts in our markets, be it technology, be it banking, be it telecom, real estate, and even insurance, I think there's 3 elements that you have to consider that are part of being able to innovate, not incrementally, but exponentially. The first is realizing that exponential innovation doesn't come from the growth that you have when you're tracing the line that everybody else is tracing. Exponential innovation comes from doing things that are totally different, that might break the rules, and that you're going to be in risk if you try to do them. Because doing something very different is risky. The other thing you have to do is have a process that works for you. Venture capitalists have their way of doing it. Each one has it different. But you need to find a way that you can have a test of concept that you really run all the way through, and that the test of concept is a good predictor of success when you try to scale up. If a scale of concept doesn't work, it won't work as a scaling up. If a test of concept works, there's a huge probability that it won't work scaling up. So your methodology has to be consistent, and you have to be very strict. And the other thing that I have to remember, and this is something that we've all spoken about, not only at this panel, but every panel at Innovation Summit, is that technological leadership is a temporary status. Anybody who has had a breakthrough in technology, from the people that invented film and then went broke because nobody wanted film in their cameras, to people that invented vinyl records and they died for CDs, and then they died for MP3s and MP4s. Everyone who has been a leader has realized that if they don't keep innovating, they will be lost in the wake. So I think those are three messages that have nothing to do with insurance for all of you that thought they were going to see a boring insurance talk today.
Thank you, Hermann. Okay, so here's a question to all the four of us. So maybe we'll start with Alex. Thanks. Considering insurance is the hardest industry to be innovative, what advice do you have for our audience that will help them develop a role in any of their industries?
Yeah, so we're claiming the title that insurance is the hardest. So if there's other people selling into retail, consumer, gas, and I don't care. We can have it out over a beer. We're the hardest. Okay, this is the hardest industry. But to that end, then kind of if you reflect on the two big things for me are that translate across anyone are where are you making your bets? Because you can't make, unfortunately, you can't put a bet on the table. So, for us, we're betting that, AI is a thing, going to keep being a thing. That's good because we use AI, but, you got to do it responsibly. We're making a big bet there. Second, that voice is going to be the user interface of the future. We're doing that. You're going to talk more than you type, and you want action generated, not information. And the third is that people are going to still be people. So, meaning they're still going to commit fraud. So, what are your bets? Make it, place it. And then the second thing is you're building it not because someone else will do it, but because no one else will do it. And that's, I think, what's going to keep all the entrepreneurs going and continue to go is you got to wake up every day and not be fear-driven by the fact that if I don't do it, someone else will, but if I don't do it, no one else will. And that's how you're going to change 90% underserved market, huge opportunity, huge opportunity. Doesn't exist anywhere on the planet. This is the kind of stuff you got to seize, make your bets, do it because no one else will, and, just enjoy the grind. How much pain can you take?
Okay, Estuardo?
Yeah, no, I agree. Totally agree about the opportunity. Totally agree about AI, knowing the risk, but also to share the importance of insurance. I think education here is key. I guess most of us have insurance here, but 90% doesn't. So how we can share that importance of the insurance, not only for getting insurance and get something, a contract, but it's more about that economic resilience, right, that I believe the region needs. And I believe that insurance brings that economic resilience. Not having an insurance, we focus a lot on segments. One of the segments are delivery drivers, which is growing very fast in the region and all at them. And it's incredible how that segment, one, it's difficult to understand the importance of insurance, but the negative impact that has for that specific segment to not have an insurance is enormous. The vehicle depends on the work, of food of the family, transportation. So I believe that transmitting that importance and educating the whole market of how important is insurance is key. And that's what we're doing, and that's what we're focusing. And I believe every player on this ecosystem, not only from the insurance and boring industry, but everyone in the industry. So yeah, very excited of what is coming in the next years.
So I think my advice is specifically for startups. So I advise a lot of startups, and I hear a lot of startup pitches. And my advice to most of them is stop talking about how you're going to disrupt the industry. You know, VCs love hearing that, but the truth is, most of you are not. And most of the value that you're going to provide is not disrupting an industry. Like, I'm teaching everybody in my company about Kaizen, about incremental improvement, and really, like, that's where your value is going to come. Maybe a VC wants to hear, I'm going to implode a whole industry and be the next Uber and be the next Lyft, but in reality, like, your clients, they don't want to hear that. You walk into an insurance carrier's office and you say you're going to disrupt insurance, they're going to throw you right out the door. Because that's not what an insurance carrier wants to hear, is you're going to disrupt a multi-hundred-year-old industry. They want to hear how you're going to improve them day to day. How are you going to change their bottom line tomorrow, and how are you going to keep changing it every single day? So figure out how your clients are going to benefit from what you have to offer day one. And then going back to what Alex said, just put your nose to the grindstone and just grind it out. Disruption comes from really good execution. It's not something you walk in the door and just do. That's an effect of how well you execute. So figure out your 2 or 3 top clients, your avatars of your top clients, and then execute an absolutely perfect product for them. That's how you end up disrupting. And that's how you become a mainstay in your industry.
Thank you, Asti. Hermann?
And I want to keep in the same line. A lot of the people at this summit want to think that they have the earth-changing technology. And really, earth-changing technology comes every once in a while. And there's a lot of catchphrases, but if it's available to everybody, it's available to everybody. How you can implement your technology in a way that makes your clients, your industry, your stakeholders, be able to use their people to do what people need to do, and use technology to do everything that you know you don't need a person to do. Actually, I was at a very moving event earlier. The lady's husband is a biologist at Stanford, and one of the things that they investigate is the forms of molecules, because molecules melt and meld with each other because of the shapes. And a supercomputer in 15 milliseconds made a model that predicted the shape of every molecule known to man. And her husband, who runs the department, she asked him, didn't that just destroy the lifetime value of all the biologists that are studying at Stanford? And she said, no. A computer now is going to model the shapes of the molecules, and the Stanford doctors in biology are going to get to thinking of how to make the world better, how to get sickness destroyed, how to change the world, not with something that the computer can do. So technology is a tool. Technology is not a vehicle. Technology is not a solution to all your problems. Technology is an aid so that you can do things better. We're speaking about the building of Convento Santo Domingo. Convento Santo Domingo, in case you don't know it, was destroyed by an earthquake. Then it was overrun by a river, and they kept building it. And they didn't have cranes. They didn't have mixto-listo concrete tanks. They built this brick by brick, and every time an earthquake or the river would destroy it, they had a bit better technology, and it took a bit less time. If they tried to build this today, it would probably take a couple of years instead of 40 years, which is what it took to build the last time. So technology is a tool, and that's what I think is a message that's universal to all the industries that you guys represent.
Thank you, Hermann. Alex, any final thoughts?
Just bullish on Latin America. It's a risk-on moment for this region. It's a lot to be excited about, and I'm really excited to be a small part of it, but really watch all the talent and creativity explode. I'm telling you, it's really exciting here.
Thank you, Alex. Estuardo, any final thoughts?
All good. No, thanks for participating. Thank you for being in a panel that most of you, is not interested in insurance, but thank you for participating. I'm very, very excited for what is coming to the region. I'm very, very excited about the collaboration that the whole ecosystem is doing. And yeah, Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Estuardo. Austin?
Just echoing my panelist, or co-panelists here, I agree.
Thank
you,
you.
everybody.
Okay, thank you. Herman?
The Volcano Summit has been wonderful. I think having the opportunity for people that think the way that we think is great, because usually in Guatemala, we're always thinking about the no, and we can't do that. And the feeling at Volcano Summit is of we're going to do it, and there's ways to do it, and collaboration is one of the ways. Getting to insurance and talking about how insurance is the hardest industry to break into with technology. I have to say that I've had the experience of working with Alex, and hopefully we'll work with Sostengo and Austin's company, Renfroe. But you have to have economy of scale for projects to work. You have to have the capacity of making quick decisions, because innovation is not a bureaucratic process. Innovation is having an idea and making it work. So you have to be big enough to have the projects, but you have to be small enough for decisions not to be taken by a committee. And one of the things that I can definitely say for any of you that are providers of technology and wish to break into a very old-fashioned and conservative industry like insurance and banking and industry, is you have to learn how to pitch how your technology multiplied with other technologies has a value that's more than the sum of the technologies. When we used the ClearSpeed technology to do voice stress analysis and identify fraud, and we multiplied it with another fraud analysis technology, the results were 10 times better than the sum of one plus the other. So to anybody wanting to go into industries that are hard to break into with technology, I would say make sure that your product or your idea is easy to implement, that has a good work case that can be scaled, and find people that are willing from the top to commit to a long-term project with you, because that's the way that you're really going to get the best of your technology out into the market.
Thank you, Herman. So I want to thank all of our panelists. Thank you, Alex, Estuardo, Austin, and Herman, for your time and collaboration. And thank you all for being here. Let's remember that adaptability and customer service is the key to navigating the path field in any industry. So thank you for being here.